Hello, guys. If you're ready to tackle the challenge to streamline your takeoff process, then you are in the right place. In this tutorial, I will walk you through the step-by-step process of using the PlanSwift template to take off for Substructure. All right, so if you're ready to level up your takeoff game and save time, let's get started. But just remember, with great power comes great responsibility. So use this template wisely. All right, so let's jump into it. As you can see, we're just going to take off. I've been using this for many videos, so I'm just going to take off for um one of these detached. This is a semi-detached duplex. So I'm just going to take off for the foundation. I'm just going to take off only this portion. All right. So we're just going to take off for side clearance, and we're just going to take off from this portion. Let's just take off from this portion, right? To this portion, down to this portion, down to this portion, you know, and we're done with that. And we move to uh we go ahead, move to topsoil excavation. Topsoil excavation is almost similar. So I'm not going, it's just that you know that you're taking off maybe 0.15 off this, you know, off this ground. So I'm just moving to the next one, which is the excavation here, right? Because that's what we need to do. And I will just be selecting it. So if we're using 225 blocks, it's going to be 0.69, which is multiplied by 3, you know, and the depth, we're going to look for it in the drawing. So let's look at it in the drawings. As you can see in the drawings, this is it. It's a 230, so multiplied by 3, it means this entirely is 690. And the depth is what I'm trying to look for. I'm looking for the depths. Let me zoom out a bit to see if the depth were stated. Oh, all right. Let me check this column schedule. Yeah. So this is the depth. The depth is already stated here, which is 1.35. 1.35. So I'm just going to come over here, 1.35, and 1.35 depth. So let's quickly take off this side. To this side. And you double click, right? And we double click, and we come here, and we double click, and we come here, and we double click. Right. So with this, you see that we're done with backfilling, disposal, level and compacting, blinding and trenches, concrete footing, and earthwork support. Right. So let's move to the next one, which is the pit excavation. So for pits, uh, you know, as for the column base here. So for the column base, we just take our columns, and okay, this is actually for the column base. So for the column base, where are we at?
So we're just going to take one of them and assume that the rest are the same. So for the column base, let me zoom in a bit again. 1.3 by 1.3. So that's exactly what I'm going to use, 1.3 by 1.3 for the column base, right? I'm just going to assume that for all of them. The depth is 1.35. So for this, we're just going to do this, 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 and this. And that's it pit excavation. As you can see, the pit excavation has given us blinding and all that, but there's still some information we haven't input. You can just come over here and put the thickness. The thickness of the column base, you check your drawings. Where is it? Which is this portion here. Let me zoom in. So the thickness here is 0.3. As you can see, this 300. So we go back there and click on it. .3 is the thickness. So as you can see, it measures the concrete and column base as well as the formwork. And then lastly, I want to check for the reinforcement use. So I'm just going to assume one of this. As you can see, this 5Y20, I'm just going to assume this 5Y20, 5Y20, 5Y20. Let's just go ahead and do this. That is it. Remember, Y20. Center to center, I can't really remember. We'll check our drawings later. Number of bays. I'm just going to assume, okay. Vertical then 0.2, cover. I'm going to check that. The cover sides, going to use for just a moment. I'm going to zoom to see. Cover is 40 mm, right? So clear cover here. Clear cover is 40. I hope I'm right. Hope I'm thinking right. Anyway, so the I believe I'm not right because if I divided that by 0. If I divided the 40 by, I'm going to get something big. Let me just be sure that's exactly what the drawing said earlier. Clear cover of base is 40 mm on each side. And then the center to center, was it here? You can click the form here, all the inputs. Zero 0.25 to center to center. The cover is 0.004. So as you can see, this is everything about the pit excavation, and it has given us reinforcement and everything for that. And what else are we doing? We're doing filling to make up level, the hardcore filling. I'm just going to click on this, and you can now do the hardcore filling. We're just going to take off into in for accuracy. We're just going to take off into in this this side. Let's make sure that it's accurate. Uh, what's going on? All right. So as you can see, we're done with the hardcore, but we don't have the light right here. So we have to check what exactly the light right is. But we're just going to assume, but let's just see if we have it in our drawings. I hope it's here. I hope it's anyway. I'm not sure it's in any of this. Anyway, if it's not in any of this, we're just going to assume. And what we're just going to do is to click here and click on inputs, and we put the thickness. I'm just going to assume 0.45 is the thickness. And with that, we're done with this. All right. So, and Now we can take off for what have we not take off for? You need to take off for block work. Let me just take off for concrete in bed quickly. Yeah, the thickness is 0.15. So the bed, you're just taking it for this portion, onto this portion, onto this portion. And as you can see, the DPM, the BRC mesh, the form water edges has also been taken off automatically. I'm just going to click here to remove the highlights, and I'm going to come. So we're just going to measure the column. So number of column, we're just going to assume that we're taking off 4. Oh, let me just come here so that we can take off 4 columns quickly. So we're taking off for the columns. Remember, we're just taking off for just the round so all together, let me just I just want to ensure that the one I'm taking off is the one in the drawings. So let's just assume that, as you can see, we have C1, C9. We could have followed all of this, but because of the sake of time, just C1, C9, C7, C6, or whatsoever. Or what I'm just going to do is to ensure we take off this single ones. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm just going to assume that this is 9, and so the number of columns, we're just going to assume 9. The width, as you can see here, this 230. Thickness 230. And we can now click on OK. And we can now measure. Let me zoom in. So one more thing I didn't do was, I'm going to stop here. So one more thing I didn't do for this was to input some of this information. I click on inputs and we put the diameter of the bar. The diameter is Y16. Y16. Number of straight bars. Projection. Just going to assume this depends. Anyway, some of this could be listed on. So the stirrups, which is the links here, are Y8. The bar weights at 175 center to center. The cover, I hope it is. The hooks also. And we click on OK. So all of these things should be gotten from our drawing. Then ensure your drawings are complete so that you could get some of this. As you can see, the cleft of our column is 25 mm. So we can still go back and check to see cover, as you can see, is 25 mm. I hope I'm correct with this. Anyway, so that's it for this, and then we can now move to the next one. If you have ground beam, you take off. If not, you let it be. And the last that will be taken off was substructure is the block work. So the block work is easy. We already know the wall height here is 1.35 minus, you can just minus the ground beam. Okay, anyway, let's just go ahead and just take 1.35. The weight is 0.23, and we zoom in properly, and we just take off here to here, 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 here to here. All right. So I believe I must have taken off everything for this. We've seen that we've taken off for backfilling disposal. When we took off for excavation, you saw that we took off for concrete in columns, blinding in columns, formwork, reinforcement when we took off for pit excavation. We took off for laterite filling, level and compacting when we took off for hardcore filling and concrete in bed. We took off for DPM, BRC mesh, formwork to edge of beam when we took off for concrete in bed. All right. So do well to get this template if you want to tackle the challenge and to streamline your takeoff process. All right. See you on the next one.